Let's grow together. And to help us do that, I welcome, I got turned off too quick. I welcome Sheryl Cattell. Not your Reverend, but who knows?
I'd like to just take a moment and let's hold Reverend Martin in our minds and in our hearts and see for him perfect health as he is realigned with his perfection and his connection to God. And I give thanks also for his contribution to the words I'm going to share with you today. So thank you for that. I want to mention, I did get the chance to speak a few weeks ago, and I just want to caution you, be careful what you ask for. I had so much fun. I said, oh, that was so much fun. I hope I get to do it again. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it kind of works. So the talk, I did want to give a nod to Reverend Martin. So we have to start with a story about two little boys, right? And they were real troublemakers and holy terrors, I think. And their parents heard about a priest who was very successful disciplining children. So kids, listen up. So he said, okay, I'm going to meet with each one individually. And so the first little boy comes in. The parents bring him in. And the priest says to the little boy, where is God? The little boy just like totally frightened, like, oh no. And the priest raises his voice, where is God? And pretty soon the little boy is like shaking in his boots. And the priest said, where is God? He jumps up, runs home, goes into the closet and slams the door. And the other little boy comes and says, what happened? He says, we're in big trouble this time. God is missing. They think we did it. Thank you, Rev Martin, for that. Well, so that's what we're going to explore today. Where is God, after all? It's a good question. So maybe we take some time to look at this question, where is God, after all, with the help of Ernest Holmes. So we're going to start by just feeling the presence in our moment. And this presence is a small, still voice that is an infinite power that we call many, many names. But today, we're just going to call it the thing itself. Now, this is the first in a series of talks that are about the original book, Science of Mind. Just had 4 chapters. And they form the belief system or the philosophy, or I call it a GPS. It's not really, this is what we believe. It's a GPS for you to go and make your own connection with spirit. So we're going to cover in the next few weeks, today, the thing itself. Then once you got that, you're going to want to know, how do I use this? How does it work, right? What does it do? And how do I use it? So we're going to do those other 3 topics for the next 3 weeks. So we'll be exploring that. So today, we're diving into the very heart of religious science. It's the foundational idea that was presented by Holmes in his first chapter. Now, he calls it the thing itself. I think of thing 1 and thing 2, Dr. Seuss. Anybody else with me here? Okay, it sounds strange. How is God a thing? What is it? A force, a person, a being? What? And Holmes says it's none of those. And it's all of those. So he puts it this way: there is a power in the universe that's greater than you, and you can use it. And in essence, that is the thing itself. But what's even more important is realizing it's already using us. And unknowingly, everyone in the world is using it. Every thought, every action, every deed, every word, we are using it. Sometimes more eloquently than others. Sometimes when we lose our mind to fear, less eloquence comes out. And so what we're going to talk about is how to use the thing itself to our best benefit. So Holmes describes the infinite, the divine reality behind all creation. It is what some of us call God, but he chooses a different language so that it's not limited by a personified deity. So the thing itself is what we call God, according to Holmes. We should not think of God as a person, but as a universal presence. It is the first cause. It's creative intelligence. It's not about being with power. It is about being power itself. Not some God up in the Sistine Chapel reaching down and touching us. They're not in the heavens judging us from afar. But it's an infinite presence that's closer than our own breath, moving through us and as us. It's not male, it's not female, it's not old, it's not young, it's not distant, it's not angry. It just is. Eternal, perfect, and ever-present. Now, the book of Genesis said that God created man in his image. Voltaire added to that and said, and we return the favor by creating God in our image, right? So there's probably some truth to that, because most of our gods and goddesses in history were cosmic versions of humans. But surely there's more to God than that. So once again, what is God? What is God like? Well, for most people, the answers to this depended on how and where we were raised. Most people don't spend a whole lot of time investigating. They basically outsource their religious beliefs, right? Let me sign up. I'll be a Baptist. No, I'm going to be Catholic, right? It was handed down to us from where we were. And as I love to tell my wife, your connection to spirit is not something you can outsource. It is an inside job. There is no way that anyone else can know how your connection to God is going to show up in your life, manifesting as you. Unfortunately, a lot of people accept blind faith, right? But our minds were created to say why, where, how, right? That's the reason we have the word science in the name of religious science, because it's something that can be tested, tried, proven, if the person is willing to experiment. That's what I tell my life coaching clients all the time. Let's just do an experiment, right? To replace fear with faith, a faith in God within themselves. Being unique in all the world, we're like a thumbprint. And so therefore, your connection to God is just as unique as that. No one before you and no one after you are going to have all of the skills, the talents, the experiences, the knowledge that you have. And so that is the true path of finding that connection to God. Holmes said that if you can bring yourself to believe, the universal creative process will believe along with you. I'm going to take a drink here. Your belief will then manifest as a changed condition. If you're one of those people who takes notes, and there's notes now in the bulletin, you might want to write this down. If you can bring yourself to believe, then the universal creative process will believe right along with you, and your belief will manifest as a changed condition. Let me say that again. If you can bring yourself to believe, the universe will believe along with you, and your belief will manifest as a changed condition. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter if you're Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist. The key is believing that something will happen when you believe. Ernest Holmes believed in belief. I want to share with you a story when I made my connection to this concept. I was teaching at the University of Virginia. I was teaching at the McIntire School of Business and writing case studies for the Darden School of Management. I had written probably 20 of them, and I knew exactly how long it would take me to write one. These are like 50, 60 pages long. It's like a term paper. And this one was really important because I had gone to Toledo, Ohio. I know, it's a hot spot. And interviewed the CEO and had full access to his executive assistant for a full day at Etch-a-Sketch, the Ohio arts company that makes Etch-a-Sketch. Okay. He had asked Darden to debate and discuss a royalty payment, here's right at home, to Disney to put Mickey Mouse ears on the Etch-a-Sketch. Okay, pretty cool, and was it a good return on investment? Was it a good way for them to spend their money? Okay. So the night before, it was very important because the CEO was coming to campus and was going to listen to this. So my case study had a deadline. As a matter of fact, the deadline was at 8 in the morning, and it was about 2 a.m. when I got this message. I knew I had about 12 hours left to finish this case. And the editors were counting on me to get it there because otherwise they couldn't make their deadline to get it printed. And every time I would look for something, I'd be going through my papers. Oh my God, I know I have that chart. Oh, where's that number? I was frantic. I was stuck. I was in fear. I was letting fear run my life at that moment. And finally, I just put my head down. I can't do it. It's not possible. I give up. I was alone in the room, in my office at the time, and it was as if someone was right there with me because I heard these words as clear as day. There is never a lack of time, only a lack of faith. Okay, that's what you say. My fingers went onto the keyboard and words started flowing out. When I needed a number, my stack of papers, it was as if somebody went and put it all in order. Oh, that's the number I need. Oh, it was a little kind of scary. I finished in time to go take a shower, so the editors got the benefit of me having a shower. I turned it in. They said, oh, what's the title? I said, Etch-a-Sketch meets Mickey Mouse. Even that was inspired. I hadn't figured it just came out. So fortunately, they made it. The case study was debated. By the way, it wasn't worth the royalty payment, just FYI, if you ever go to Darden School. The students voted the case as the best case of the year. And I read the case. I don't know who wrote it. I don't recognize anything in it. But that message was the thing I need. That was the connection with spirit that I needed in my life because it came back. I'm worried about money. Am I going to be able to make the rent? There's never a lack of money, only a lack of faith. If I felt sick or ill and I had something really important coming up, oh my God, I'm going to worry. What can I do? Can I take some drugs? There's never a lack of health. There's only a lack of faith. So if you leave with nothing from today other than those words, that's how I was able to make the connection with spirit in my life. And I wish that for you. I want you, each and every one of you, to be able to make in your own way that connection. You may hear it in the room, which was pretty scary, or you may see it in messages, in Facebook pop-up ads. I don't know, but it's always out there ready for you. So, the nature of this infinite power, let's talk about that. Holmes says that it operates according to law. We call it the law of mind. It is not arbitrary. Just as our thoughts shape our experience, God's thoughts or the movements of mind will shape the universe. So that's how infinite power works. So thought is creative, and we're always thinking. The universe does not react emotionally. It doesn't play favorites. It just responds to the pattern of our thoughts, to beliefs, to feelings. If you have negative thoughts and feelings, guess what? You're going to get more of that. That's why Jesus said, "It is done unto you as you believe." I think Buddha also had a similar connection, because he said all that we are is the result of what we have thought. Right? It's all coming from the same source, right? It came to us through great examples. They are not exceptions. They are showing us what is possible when we embrace that power within us. Rene Descartes says, "I think, therefore I am." But have you heard the rest of that quote? You probably never heard it. It says, "I think, therefore I am, but possibly I am something more than I suppose myself to be." Yeah. Marianne Williamson, one of my favorites, candidates for presidency, says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." Think of the responsibility that you have. Hiding in your small thinking, hiding in your fears. God is waiting for you to connect and deliver the beauty in your life and the beauty in everyone's life that you're here with today. It is beyond our comprehension. And yet we know through experimentation, manifestation, and observation, we can learn what it does and how to use it, right? Holmes didn't say, "You must believe this. Just listen to what I say and you're going to burn in hell," No, he just said, "This is how you make a connection. After that, it's up to you." Every one of us probably got here in some kind of a motor vehicle. You don't have to understand automotive technology. You don't need to know what it does. You only need to know how to use it. Put the key in, turn it on, or in my case, turn my phone on, and it just goes. It's magic. The laws of electricity existed in the days of cave people, but we didn't start using them until recently. I mean, think about that. The law of electricity has not changed, right? We just have awakened to it. So I invite you to awaken to the law of divinity in your life, right? Edison once told a woman, "Electricity is, madam, just use it." Holmes says, "God is, use it." And that's what he wanted. That's all he wanted for us. So I'm going to invite you to try an experiment this week. Whenever you say or think something negative, I want you to cancel it out. This is how I do it. I'm going to take another drink. Oh man, I just don't think I'm going to get it done. There's not enough time. Right? Or I always have trouble paying my bills. It's going to be a problem. It's going to come up short again. I want you to this is what I do. Cancel. I am fully plugged into the abundance of the universe, and I let it flow through me, and I always have more than enough. I'm not up here just telling you this. I'm up here demonstrating this, right? I just got back from Alaska. I spent a month in an RV out west visiting national parks, and I went to Africa for 3 weeks. That's this year, okay? I'm telling you, this works. And Holmes is inviting us and giving us a GPS on how to get there, right? So focus your mind on the words that paint the story of what you want in your life. Your words cast a spell. That's why they call it spelling, right? Make sure the spell you're casting is amazing. Just practice it for a week. And I want to see you here next week. I want to hear how it goes. What do you have to lose, right? All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is our relationship with the thing itself. So the divine is not separate. We are all united and together in it. We are in it, of it, and one with it. We're not trying to reach God. We're not praying to something out there. We're just awakening to the truth within us. One of my favorite ministers at the Fort Lauderdale Church, Reverend Jim Lockhart, he would participate in the interfaith activities. He'd go to, the rabbis and the Catholic priests and the, Buddhists. And it was funny because they were all introducing themselves. And he, said, I'm with the Center for Spiritual Living, Religious Science. And the Catholic priest said to him, oh, you're with that church where you think you're God. And he said, oh, no, we know we are. Right? So that's the relationship, right? The same creative power that created the galaxies and planets is alive within you right this minute. Just think about it. You're not a drop in the ocean. Stop acting like it. You are the ocean in a drop right here, right now. So our role is to remember that. And that's why we come here, to remind ourselves and to remind each other what our real purpose and who we really are. So I did want to end by saying that, the Science of Mind textbook is the basis for our religious science movement. The Foundations course, if you want more, I'm going to plug the January class. It's also required if you want to serve on the Leadership Council, or if you'd ever like to become a practitioner. It's one of the required courses because, and it's not, you're not going to be told what to believe, you're going to be given a GPS to follow. And so I want to invite you to that. I think that the Science of Mind movement has had a lot of impact just outside of this organization. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the author of The Power of Positive Thinking, acknowledged the influence that Science of Mind had on him. Elvis Presley had the Science of Mind book in his library. Joseph Campbell said that he studied Science of Mind in coming up with his mythology works, The Hero Within. There was also an interview with the Star Wars filmmaker George Lucas. And in the interview, right behind him, is a copy of the Science of Mind. So may the force be with you. All right. So, assuming, just to conclude, I just want to wrap, to remind you, God is not distant, it is ever present, and it is all there is. That's the first step of a spiritual mind treatment. God is all there is. And so we just talked about that. We are not separate. That's the second. We are unified with that. Life is not happening to me. It is happening through me. And that there is a power for good in the universe, and it is begging us to use it. So the more we awaken to it, the more we become aware, the more we will become our purpose and instruments of love, healing, and transformation. So I'm assuming you're pretty good here. You got some clarity. You can come up afterwards. I'd love to talk to you about it. But next, how does it work? What does it do? How can I use it? What is the process? Stay tuned. The answers to these and other questions will be here over the next few weeks. Same time, same location, and we'll keep the lights on for you. So I'll end by saying there is one life, that life is God. That life is perfect, and that life is my life now. I am one with the thing itself. I am guided, empowered, and blessed. Amen, Amin, Aho, Ashe, blessed be, Sadho, Shalom, Namaste. And so it is.